At this point, I know damn near everybody and their mother already seen this series. Here I am 2 months later, just getting into it, still talking about it. As this shit is actually tough. I'm surprised it's escaped my radar for this long. Nobody put me on to just how psychotic this series really is. I'm still not done it just yet. I'm on episode 5 of 6 of the first season. I just wanted to come on here and briefly yap about what I've seen so far because it's pretty crazy. If you have not seen The Girlfriend yet, I'd highly recommend it. If you like anything I gotta say in this video out, you already know what I gotta do. Go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. And let's talk about The Girlfriend right quick. For y'all who have not watched this series yet, basically the premise is that this girl right here, she ends up dating dude over here. She's real down on her luck too, like broke as hell. She hates her job. The people at her job don't really like her, more so tolerate her. It's kind of like a vice versa type of thing because she tolerates them too. And she's just getting by. Enter Daniel, who is basically her knight in shining armor with a bat. Seeing how much he absolutely adores her, she's trying to lock that thing down, full on marriage. And it's looking like that's about to happen, but then you enter Daniel's mother. Now, Daniel's mother, named Grace, is one of those moms who feel like they gotta be super overprotective of their kid. She's also a mom that feels like they need to do everything for their kid, including making sure that their kid isn't making a terrible mistake, messing with somebody who's clearly just with them only for the money and really has a double life, is not telling Daniel everything that they're into. Very early on in the series, we see Grace find out that Olivia Cook's character, Cherry, is not who she's been claiming to be this whole time. But up until this point, she's done a good enough job keeping up the mask to where Daniel is not really suspecting much of anything, making the mom look crazy in his eyes, her husband's eyes, even in the eyes of her friends. The only person she really don't look crazy in front of is her secret lover. Someone wants to help Grace expose Cherry so that Daniel doesn't end up going down a terrible path. But we see from that third episode that Grace is just a little too late. Not only because in this episode, Daniel confirms that he is going to marry Cherry one day. My son got in his 1 knee in that third episode. I thought he was gonna pull out the fattest rock out of his pocket and propose to her right then and there. It's gonna be that easy for Cherry, unfortunately, but she's still willing to play the long game. All this is happening while they're hiking. Daniel is climbing the side of this wall, refuses to put up more clips to support his fall in case he's not able to get further up the side of the mountain. When he jumps for a ledge, he doesn't have enough support to get to that ledge. He ends up falling back, seemingly cracking the back of his head like a fallen egg touching concrete. So obviously he ends up in the hospital after this. Mom freaks out, tells Cherry she does not want her there during Daniel's recovery. We see Cherry constantly blowing up her line for updates on Daniel, and she not returning any of these calls. We see from Grace's perspective that things are getting a lot worse for Daniel. He has another bleed in his head. Doctors letting his parents know that it's looking like Daniel's not gonna make it, so they devastated, obviously. Before the end of that third episode, Grace lets Cherry know Daniel is about to kick the bucket, but my boy makes a miraculous recovery by the grace of God. Shortly after this, the family go on vacation. He's getting his necessary PT. Grace and her husband look like they're rekindling things. Everything's looking all good for their family, but Cherry's not a part of that equation. In fact, Daniel has not heard from Cherry since he got out the hospital. Why is that? Well, that would be because his mom never told Cherry that Daniel actually made it. Instead, to protect her son from Cherry's bad influence, decided to keep up the lie that Daniel was actually dead, which would have been bad enough, but when Cherry decides she's going to get a suit for him to wear in his casket with his own credit card, that shit was kind of weird to me. He pulls up on Grace before Grace goes on this vacation with Daniel and her husband and lets her know that they already had the funeral, which obviously pisses off Cherry because that was his girlfriend. But unfortunately, there's not much she can do about it in the situation. His mom said that he's dead. She conveniently did not provide her with the address for where he's laid to rest, so she can't even visit, bro. All she can do is go on to live her own life, but she can't even do that in peace. No, instead, Grace decided she's going to further destroy this lady's life. For what reason, I don't know. I get that Daniel got hurt on her watch, but she is the one that called y'all when the accident happened. But anyway, also I understand Cherry is a terrible person and that's his mom. I do not think that this girl deserved what Grace did to her in that fourth episode. Not only did she kick her out of the flat she was staying in early, she had about 30 days to move out of that flat, got her up out of there in less than a week. She then hacked her Instagram and put up this fake post on her page, violating her place of work, so she wakes up the next day without a job. And she got a burner phone, so all the messages that Daniel thinks he's sending to Cherry, he's actually sending to her mom. I'm talking about unsolicited dick pics is getting sent to his mother. That shit is weird. You got Grace trying to cover her tracks, telling her friends, don't let nobody in town know that Daniel actually lives. When Mutual spot Cherry out of the club, trying to move on from the loss of Daniel, quote unquote. Basically slut-shaming her, but she's unaware that Daniel is even alive to begin with. This shit was just so foul on so many levels, but the mom gotta be the biggest dickhead in the entire series. She for real gotta get donkey of the episode, because why would you ever return to this place? Knowing that Cherry was more than likely not going anywhere, you took away her employment, you already knew she was broke, thinking she wasn't gonna run into Daniel at any point throughout his life. He literally goes on to do so 10 minutes after they return from their vacation. So now I'm just waiting to watch episode 5, like, damn, what's about to happen? Because while I do think Grace was within her right to want to protect her son, obviously, especially finding out that Cherry actually was a fake this whole time. Daniel lies about a lot of her life, but even outside of Daniel, having some serious issues with her past relationships, I can understand the mom wanted to step in and being like, yo, Daniel, I'm doing this for your own good. But faking bro's death and then bringing him back to the location where he faked his death, where the girl is more likely still going to be at. You had all the money in the world. You could have moved anywhere. Why would you go back to the site of the accident? I just don't see Daniel ever forgiving his mom after this. The only thing the mom could do now is address Cherry's lies, but that still does not outweigh you faking his death, him realizing that you've been lying to him this whole time. That right there is going to be a crazy revelation. I'm looking forward to episode 5. Just want to leave y'all my thoughts on this great, crazy series so far. If you watch a girlfriend, let me know what you think of the series. Do not spoil in the comments. I beg, do not spoil. That's all I got for y'all for this video, though. I'll be on Jose, so I will be entertained, and we go talk soon. Peace, y'all.